Look at these two. They're starting to get along a bit more. The brothers, the brother and sister, Blondie and Prada. Here's Prada and Blondie. We're gonna get Blondie all better. And I'm probably gonna switch Prada to another insurance provider so that if there are any conditions, she gets the right coverage with less strain. That seems to be the plan. There they are. Come on, boys. Thankfully, I stopped that in time. Prada does not take Blondies. Mm-mm. Oh, no. No, no. She fought back. Thankfully, there was no blood. She just intimidated him by hissing after he jumped her. So we were having a moment. No, not a gross one. Just one where Blondie lay here and Prada lay here. And in order to be able to avoid jealousy, I have to pet them both at the same time. Because Blondie's the one who gets jealous more than Prada does. Which I guess is why Blondie has tried to dominate his sisters for so long. Jealousy, probably. But they're also such big babies, the two. I've been getting them ready, preparing them for what's next. Just as I prepared Buddy for years. This harkened back a memory of my mother suggesting that I had prepared Buddy. Thank God I've known what we've had. Just one county welfare call and the whole story would be different now. In one tiny way. And that's a fact. But where and when does a fact cross the line into blame or fault? Where and when does that line get crossed? Where? I have to budget for everything. I have to price out fills, because this is a new set. And the salon on Mauer only does new sets of Gel X. Whereas one other salon fills in Gel X. Since I have the chiropractor on a Friday this time, I should be able to fit in a fill. But I'll have to price that out. There goes Blondie again. I'll be right back. Oh my God. It seems I haven't had a whole lot of spoons to finish recording the current episode, but have a whole lot more, thankfully, for the accompanying written post. But what a whirlwind of a week. Some jobs have the unpaid time option, and I had to use a little bit of that because I really needed to catch up on some rest. Since I'm awaiting my card, I've had to borrow against my next paycheck in order to get by on some things. And then it started downpouring snow to the point where all weekend activities had to be canceled. But I did get a home-baked pizza in and made something like that on a piadina. Yes, I did print out a recipe for that. And I still should get better setups so I can film cooking content, so I really need to keep up with these. Getting them filled, replaced the Gel-X tips, because it has a more natural looking finish than acrylics do. Anyhow. Shit. I did have a crown put back there, if you're new. But God forbid I ever have to get a root canal. God forbid that ever happens. My mother had to, but that's another story. I'll have to see how much I've actually recorded for this episode. Thank God I got more storage. But I have to write down things for next month's to-do list that I didn't really get around to. Well, didn't get a chance to, really, with everything going on from probate to this to that, the third. You know the drill. Plus some crazy revelations. I mean, crazy ass revelations. When I encounter my other boyfriend, whom I've been calling Raul, who is 45, I'll have to tell him about this one, but apparently the old trans partner had accused me to my old friend of talking about my old friend, but that just wasn't true. Just not true. All I did was vent about concerns that I had already directly called the old friend out on, which I also talked about in the written post. And how I ran into this old friend over a year later, last week. Actually, a couple weeks, but it was a hell of a surprise. Oh my God. There's Prada not taking any bullshit from her brother. But sometimes they sleep together up here. He comes up on the pillow, she's down there. And I've been between them and pet both of them at the same time, because one will get jealous of the other if I don't. But at least they're getting along a bit better. Jesus, Prada. Prada's doing the zoomies again. Anyhow, I gotta get the piadina game up, too, because those are pretty spoons friendly as far as for Sammy's, quick pizzas, shit like that. Oh my God. Blondie, are you alright? What's wrong? I'll have to give them their can in the morning. Blondie, are you okay? Blondie, are you okay? Oh boy. He was making that strange cry. He's also made sometimes low-sounding cries before going to the bathroom, which to me suggested discomfort sometimes, but I've been keeping on top of everything with the vet and looking at scheduling ultrasounds to check Blondie's belly to see what's wrong there so that we can help him stop having those messy consequences. And if, God forbid, it comes down to that, give him fenbendazole to kill cancer. Give him the fenbendazole to get rid of it if, God forbid, it's anything like that. Oh, here's Brada. There she is. Meow. Meow. Sorry, Brada. I've been getting her ready for all the rest of the partners. Since she's met the eldest one, she cries. Weird random shower thought has popped in. Of course I have all those. I guess it's all for now. Night. It's been a lot, and now my mother, tomorrow, she would have been 68. If not for my foibles. Had we known that the Ozempic might have been killing her slowly, and had I called the county for a welfare check, she would probably be in Kansas City right now, and we would be planning her birthday right now. Probably. But it seems that sometimes the cruel, sick twist is that you only discover such details after it's already too late, after they already died. So that's why we ask, where is the line between probability and flat-out blame? Where and when does one cross that line? And that other disturbing place of knowing that you've played a huge role in something, and yet part of you wants to blame the other party for only acting in ways that they were compelled into. And no, I'm not talking about domestic violence or abuse at all. Thank God none of the parties involved do such terrible things, just so we're clear. If you are in a situation where there's domestic violence, you've got to get yourself out of there. This is where you would use these kinds of principles to bring about safety for yourself. You have to put yourself first before you can even think of anything else. All right? So please be careful.